Hey guys, I usually start this video by wishing you a good day, but I'm sad to say this is not a good day. It's not. And I'm going to tell you why, because we're going to go through the patch notes. I'm going to try to make a positive spin on it and take the positives, but there are a few negatives. Why it's getting adjustments. We all know what that means. So I'm going to go through the entire patch notes. I already know a lot of what is here and the numbers, so I'm just going to tell you what they mean so you can understand them, or we can just blast through it. So they say here at the beginning, patch 25 and 10 is written in, I think they misspelled hell, but all right, let's get into it. So there's some new stuff, and another sad thing is that Arena is gone. Yeah, I know. It's very sad, but it is what it is. We're gonna get a new game mode, which is called Brawl. Maybe I'll do a video with it, just like play a game, first game on Brawl. But yeah, it looks interesting. There's minions coming in. It's kind of an open space. There's kind of like a mix between ARAM and open space arena type stuff. Don't really know how it's gonna be, whether it's good, bad, boring. Regardless, I'm sad that Arena is gone. I really am. So, patch highlights. We're not gonna. We already know what's going on. So there's the Brawl game mode that we can see, and yeah, let's. And then there's some SEA server LP gains because they're having a rough time over there. But yeah, let's talk about first Shogath. They're nerfing his Q because he's apparently too strong in the mid lane, and then the buffing his E to make him still strong in the top lane, which I find very odd because I feel like he's unbelievably strong in top lane already, and now he's going to become stronger. And I might even think with this, you might take him into the jungle. He's already been an okay jungler, and with his E that you actually usually max in the jungle, or at least you can max, put 3 points into it. You're going to clear really fast because of the extra damage to monster with the percentage. So that's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be playable jungle. I think it's going to be incredibly strong in the top lane next patch. Or like this patch. Kayn getting a little bit of a nerf. But I think it's fine. I think it's mostly to adjust for a low elo, that he's a little bit too strong, especially later into the game. It's a problem. And lower elo games usually tend to go more late game. So I guess that's fine. Small adjustment. I don't think it's going to do much. If you used to play Kayn, keep playing Kayn is still good. Armor, and then we're nerfing Lulu. Finally, we're getting some absolutely banger Lulu nerfs. I've been waiting for this. So her nerfs before wasn't really sufficient. We talked about this, but now she's actually going to be a lot squishier, and her ultimate cooldown is going down, and that's significant because in all-in matchups, that's going to be massive because some of these all-in champions, like Leona, for example, has a pretty low ultimate cooldown. So if they ult, they trade ultimates, next time Lulu is not going to have an ult if you start a fight immediately. And that is very significant. Same with like Nautilus, if you find another engage, that can be super important. So this is actually a pretty good nerf for Lulu. It's a big nerf. I think it's good, personally. Fiddlesticks, he's been a problem in support, and people are building him tank and being a menace around the map, and it's super annoying. So they're nerfing his CC slightly, nerfing his base damage, so he can't build tank. But if you build him AP now, he's gonna melt through people. Like the buffs are crazy. His Q damage is gonna do so much with the extra percentage, 4% per 100 AP. It's just like so incredible. You can easily get 400 AP plus, like 450, almost 500 with 3 AP items. And yeah, you can do the math. You're gonna get so much current health damage when you just ult in insta Q with empowered Q. You're just gonna melt people. So yeah, that's gonna be some crazy bursts. So I think Fiddlesticks jungle is gonna be coming very strong if you build an AP. So then we got Nafiri. We're getting a small nerfs to her jungle clear, or a decent nerf actually. So this is gonna be significant. I think it's just a nice adjustment. It makes sense. I think she's gonna be in a good spot now, like more balanced, still strong. Senna, they want her to play more as an AD carry. They want to take away the AP enchanter build. So they're nerfing the AP scaling, nerfing some of the base damage, and or like the base healing. And then they're upping the crit, and like the drop rate also when you're farming is going to be higher. So you're going to get more stacks, more souls despite farming. So they want ADC Senna to make a little bit of a comeback. That's what it seems like. It's tough to say about like exactly how strong this is going to be. We're going to have to see how many soldiers actually going to be able to farm out. But that's what they're trying to do. I think she might be quite decent now, at least. Smolder getting some buffs, so he's gonna his stacks are gonna be more significant, and yeah, so it's like per stack is just gonna become stronger. So yeah, he's coming back. And then we got Vi adjustments. They said she's been stale jungle presence, expressing her power largely in reliably one-shotting or opposing one-shotting and opposing squishy late game, little wiggle room for a counterplay. I had a lot of other changes I would prefer to make for Vi. I honestly don't think this is the issue with Vi. I think the issue is the reliability. Absolutely. For one-shotting, I don't know, man. I feel like it's kind of odd. I don't think you feel this way. I feel like you feel this way when you're head. So what they're doing is that they're nerfing her short Q a little bit damage. So if you ult and then Q, you're going to do slightly less damage, or you're actually going to do quite a bit less damage. That was already doing pretty small amounts of damage. So like ulting into Q now is going to be worse. So starting fights up with Q is going to be very important, or like even more important. This is something I've been talking about a lot. I'm going to talk about Vi builds at the end, so people who aren't as interested in Vi as the rest of us, they get to skip ahead, but I'm going to talk about the build at the end, what I think is going to be the new build. And then we got the maximum Q damage also getting nerfed because of they're nerfing the scaling, but they're upping the base damage slightly. Not going to be that significant, but she's going to be nerfed, especially for the full AD Vi, where you stack a lot of AD. Both Bruiser and full AD does stack a lot of AD, but yeah, it's going to be a nerf overall, less damage, especially on that short Q. E is now getting a bug fix, apparently. They don't want to fix her other buffs, her other bugs, but they're nerfing how the E crits now. So now it's going to be a regular crit. I've been talking about this for a long time when in builds, that your E actually like has a double crit effect. In that the extra, so it's been crit from 100%, it's now 75%. So your crit has been doing 183% extra damage instead of 175. And then you got Infinity Edge on top of it. She's been doing a lot of damage. I feel like this is kind of sad. Because I feel like it's a cool off-meta build that is not necessarily extremely strong or problematic in any way. But yeah, they're taking away a lot of damage here. So this is going to be quite sad. We're going to have to make some adjustments probably in builds. Or like with definitely R. And then they're nerfing the R damage in the late game, because that's what they were opting to nerf. I had a bunch of other changes I would like to see. I talked about that in the patch preview if you want to check that out. But yeah, I'm not going to go over it again. But yeah, they're nerfing the damage. But yay, we're getting Malma buffs. That is the buffs we're getting. That's right. So nerf, pretty decent nerf, big nerf, and but we get some mana, so that's why we call it adjustments. I like it. Shin is getting a nerf. That makes sense. He's been too strong both early and late game. He's always been a good early game champion, but right now he's scaling so well with his items, and he's a problem in team fights in later stages. He's just like, he has no weak points anymore, so they're taking him down a peg. I think that makes sense. Yumi getting a nerf. I don't think many people mind. I got a cat allergy, so that seems pretty good. And then they're making a bunch of changes to mage items. So let's see. So they're buffing this because it's pretty much never used. So this is a pretty significant buff. Like some champions has been using this, especially some of the bruisers, like Mordekaiser and these kind of AP champions. Maybe even Galio. 5 AP, not bad, and then getting 50 HP, which is quite good, because you're usually building maybe this item also together with Riftmaker and so on, which scales off HP, so that's significant. And then they're upping the way it shreds So it's going to be, the max shred is the same, but per shred, it's going to be higher. So you're going to stack it up way faster. So that's significant. You're going to do a lot more damage. So I think this is a pretty big buff. The item hasn't been used otherwise, but now yeah, it's a big buff, big buff. Then there's some changes to Crypt Bloom. So this is getting nerfed. I thought it was getting nerfed, but they upped 50 AP, 15 AP. This was not in the patch before, or like not shown. And then we got the healing a little bit reduced. They're changing the way it builds. And then there's 250 more gold for 15 AP. I think you absolutely take this. I don't see this as nerf. It's an adjustment. Feel like that's fine. Like it's going to be better late. You're going to hit the power spike 150 gold, but that's not significant. You get extra 15 AP. And that's going to be enhanced by your Rabadon. So I think the mages are absolutely happy about this. And there's going to be double Phoenix. And this is so much better. Oh my god, they get double Phoenix. So the build path is much better. They get more damage, and it's just slightly more expensive. This is like absolutely worth, and they're reducing the healing slightly, but it doesn't matter that much. Like this is going to be a really, really good item now. And then Rocket Belt, which is interesting. So they're upping the AP, nerfing the HP a little bit, which I think makes sense. Like it's been such a tanky item with very little damage, and upping the haste. And then they're changing the build path slightly, so it's going to be easier to build, easier to complete, and that's nice. And then 50 more gold. I think they absolutely take this, of course, down 50 HP, but you get 10 AP. So Echo might be wanting to run this item again. Might see some Mordekaiser, some other champions that do enjoy that extra dash. Silas, he likes this. If you're running into a bunch of Banshees and Edge of Knights, Rocket Belt is quite nice actually. So we got stuff like this. So I think Echo is absolutely gonna like this change. I don't know if it's gonna be better because Lichbane is so good, but we're gonna take a look at how that changes too. And then we got Horizon Focused. I don't know what's going on here, but it's getting 110 AP. Huh? They're completely taking away the entire Hypershot, changing the way it builds. So now it's just AP and haste, I guess. I guess this was too hard to balance. They didn't write a description here. All right, so that's interesting. And they're making it 200 gold more expensive. So this is like 4 burst mages that are closer range. They're super happy about this. This is so much damage. So that's kind of crazy. 110 AP. So like Echo might be enjoying an item like this. Champions with like super high scalings. Nerfing Liandry's again. Thank you. It's still been really, really strong, and it's still going to be really, really strong because the AP is not the most important thing about Liandry's, and usually the champions that do build Liandry's don't care that much about AP, like Lilia. Like Galio, the scalings aren't crazy, the damage is quite high, and they're able to utilize the item really well. Zyra, they don't have these really big scalings, but yeah, they just utilize the item well. So I don't, it's a decent nerf. It's still going to be a really good item, by the way. Yeah. And then we're taking down Lichbane slightly in the damage, making it way cheaper. This is insane. What? 300 gold, they're taking away, no, they're taking away 15 AP. So it's still worth though, because like one Magic Tome is 400 gold for 20 AP, right? Or is it 15 AP? If so, it's still worth, and it's going to be cheaper. And what you get the item for is actually the upgrade itself and not the AP. So it's just going to mean you're getting faster into the Rabadons, which gives you a lot more AP, and which further enhances your Lichbane proc. So this is just an absolute buff to Lichbane. I think Echo is going to be crazy. I think Sidus is really happy about this. There's other champions too that is really going to enjoy this. And then we got a straight up 100 gold buff to Ludens. Why are we buffing all the mage items? Like for real though. Why? I honestly don't know. I feel like they're doing really well. I've been seeing my every single Serath I get in my team is just like nuking everybody. But yeah, okay. So everything's getting cheaper and better, except for Liandry's. So they want to bring back the burst, which I like. I prefer that meta. I think it's more exciting. It is fun sometimes to just run around with Lilia and burn people down. But yeah, at the same time, I think it's more fun when it's explosive. It feels more skilled, especially if you can't really make that many mistakes. You got to outplay, or else you get one shot. You can't make 10 mistakes and still win the fight. So yeah, we're buffing Rabadons as well. And this is crazy. And Nashers. Echo is just like, I didn't think it was dirty, but he has paid somebody, that's for sure. We're nerfing Seraph's Embrace. Thank you. I don't not been liking this item for a long time. It's been really OP. The shield is really disgusting, so they're taking down the shields. That's gonna be nice indirect nerfs to Kalsarin, Rise, Mel, and many of the other mages that do utilize this item. Anivia, yeah, we don't like that bird. 100 less gold on Storm Surge, and we're up in the move speed. And they're taking away the gold, and they're taking away okay, so they're taking away the movement speed from the proc. They're also taking away the gold, which didn't really matter that much. Made 100 gold cheaper, up in the overall movement speed. I feel like that is strange. They said that they wanted to make those items, the burst items, more unique. Now they're just making them more similar, which I find very strange. That like Storm Surge and Horizon Focus and Shadow Flame is just going to be stats. So now you just got to run the number. What does the most damage for gold? And then just run with that item every game without making any sort of adjustments. Except for like, if I can't afford this, maybe I'm going to go with the other because it's not that much of a damage nerf. And then I got the big power spike right now. I feel like that is kind of backwards. Oh well. They're taking away the uniqueness of the items. Maybe they just want damage, more damage, and less items doing all the work like they talked about back in the day. But I feel like some uniqueness is cool in the items and not just like only stats, but each their own taste, I guess. I don't mind Landries and these kind of items being taken down and peg those because it's been all items. But then it would make sense to nerf slightly the percentage of the Landries instead, but oh well. Unsealed Spellbook is getting buffed. The cooldown is going to charge faster. You're going to be able to use more summoners. That's interesting. There's a few champions. It's a very niche. Not many people use this. Some do it, some champions, and so on. And then there's some bug changes, bug fixes. I mean, I'm not going to read all of this. And then we got skins. Stargazer Vex. High Noon Yorick actually looks cool. I don't want to see it in my games, but it's looking kind of dope actually. High Noon skins usually do, so that's cool. They're getting some chromos and stuff. That's it, guys. That's it. It's a pretty rough patch for Vi. It's not going to be the end of the world, but let's talk about a little bit her items. So her adjustments. Nerfing the short Q damage. So if you're able to utilize the Q well, that is kind of nice, but there's still a nerf overall to her Q because they nerfed the bonus scaling. But the big one is her E-crit. So now, Sun and Sky taking a lot of damage away from Sun and Sky, and Crit Vi taking a lot of damage away. So if you want to get a lot of damage on Vi, I think if you're going lethality or like full damage assassin, I think if you're going in lethality in the early items and then you transition into crit, I think it's still going to be good. Now I think it's further just more important to get the raw AD items because the crit is nerfed. And it used to do so much damage because you E does crazy damage when you're Eing somebody and critting, and taking that percentage down from 100 to 75 is a big deal when it comes to damage, and you're using 2-3 of them. So that is quite sad. That's a big nerf. So Sun and Sky absolutely getting nerfed. So I think you're going to be running with 24s because 24s, as we saw in the Q scaling is getting nerfed, right? So building a lot of AD, you get a little bit less from it. And 24s doesn't give you a bunch of AD. It gives you some attack speed and it gives you the spell blade damage, and it doesn't crit. So very little of the 24s damage is getting nerfed. So I think you're going to be running with 24s. I think that's going to be the go-to almost every single game for Bruiser. I think you can consider going something like Eclipse still. but I think Sun and Sky is just like pretty nerfed until you get to like third or fourth item, because then it's so good in the team fights. But getting it early now, I think you're taking away so much damage from yourself. I don't think it's going to be as good. Maybe in pro play, they're still going to be doing this simply because the whole purpose is just to press R and live as long as possible. Maybe get some burst off because it's going to get CC'd from everybody. But in solo queue, 100%, I'm going to be recommending Trinity Force for Bruiser, then probably going more Eclipse and Black Cleaver secondary compared to Sun and Sky. You might also want to try some Death Dance. And if you want to go really aggressive, I don't think it's bad to go Trinity Force into Opportunity actually. So you're not going to go crit stuff like Collector. But if you go Trinity Force into Opportunity or Opportunity into Trinity Force, I think you're going to do some crazy damage. So that's kind of nice. If not, you can just go with the regular Bruiser, but maybe leave out on Sun and Sky into a fourth or fifth item when there's big team fights and you can get many procs, and it's going to be worth in that sense. When it comes to full AD, I think we're going to lean more towards lethality. That's something I've been doing lately anyways, because Opportunity got such a big buff. So getting that in the item slot is pretty big. So I've been running a lot of Ghostblade Opportunity, and then transitioning into crit in Lord Dominic's and Infinity Edge and Death Dance and these items. And I think that's still going to be the case. I think crit is still going to be better, especially later, because it scales so well. And going the two lethality items now first, I think it's going to be very good still. Either Eclipse into Opportunity or something, or Ghostblade into Opportunity, or Hubris even. But Hubris is also a little bit nerfed, because what Hubris gives you is a bunch of AD, and the scaling on Q is taken down. But it's not taken down too much, so I think it's still going to be good. So you got those three items. So it's going to be interesting. When I've been recommending the Opportunity into Sun and Sky build quite a lot for people who enjoy Bruiser, and but still can snowball a little bit more than usual because Opportunity is so good. I think you can still do something like this, but I would recommend going Opportunity to Trinity Force now instead. Now you can actually run Conquer with that, because you're not going to need the Halo Blades, because you're going to get the attack speed from Trinity Force. I think you can still run Trinity Force, or maybe even Electrocute, to go Opportunity with the Electrocute into Trinity Force, because then you can have the attack speed, the burst, and it's going to be quite interesting. So I think that's going to be quite good. Yeah. And other than that, I got to do some more testing. I'm going to come back hopefully within a week, something like this. I'm going to be making the full guide where I get the full overview of the items, testing it this week, and then I'm going to make the full guide for both the Assassin and the Bruiser build, what to build, what runes to run, and kind of how to play right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like. It really helps me out. And I'll see you in the next one. Don't be too sad.